What's going on, guys? Welcome back to GTA 5, and welcome back to our second ever official Street Series Formula Drift competition here on GTA. Tonight we have an 8-man bracket full of absolute legends from the NTNS community, and we're actually here on a custom track made by our man Ruckus. This one's called Tataviam Tandem. I'm going to leave a link down in the description below in case you guys want to check that out. But without any further ado, let's get driving. So I'm actually up here. We got Hatman's car over here, and I'm going to run you guys through exactly how we're going to run these lines. So if the boys don't mind, excuse me, guys. So I'm going to be on the left here, which means I'm actually going to be the follow car. So Moo can take off, and we are going to enter into our first outside zone, which is a right-hander down here. So Moo hit that beautifully. As you can see, he was out in the wall, and we do have some beautiful indicators on the track as well as we go into our second outside zone here. Try and keep it in drift as we go up the jump. That's going to be huge. Then we got our first touch and go on the inside, our second touch and go as we swing back to the left, and then one more touch and go right here on the inside. We're going to drive down the hill, try and build as much speed as we can, go outside one more time. I was a little shallow there. Then we're going to go outside for our final clip zone, and that is where the line's going to end, guys. So that's the line for today. Typical Street Series rules: if you are the leader, you're going to be judged on your speed, on your angle, and your line. And if you're the follow driver, you're going to be judged on your proximity and your angle. I think that just about sums everything up. So without any further ado, let's get round one underway. All right, guys, so starting off round one, we got our reigning champion here. We got H1. He's the only one in the bracket with a win tonight, and he's going to be facing off against the map maker Ruckus. Whenever you guys are ready, go right ahead. First run, here we go. Ruckus is going to try and pull ahead a little bit here. He's going to go a little shallow into his first outside, and H1 is going to be stuck to him as we drive through the second outside. H1's going to correct just a little bit. Let's see if the guys can keep it in drift up the hill. They both do beautifully. H1 is not giving an inch. We're not going to fault Ruckus here as he misses that zone. H1 was pushing him pretty hard there. As he does, he is very aggressive with his falls. H1's going to drop a wheel there. We're going to let that go. One wheel drop is okay as H1 back on Ruckus's door. He is slamming Ruckus, and he is not letting up with that proximity. A couple contacts from H1 here might hurt him in the official selection, but as far as the first round goes, that's a great follow. Swapping over to Ruckus here. Ruckus for his follow. Whenever you guys are ready, go right ahead. H1 with a crazy launch here off the rip. He is way ahead. This is crazy. He goes deep, so he is going to get a point on Ruckus there. And one for proximity. Oh, H1 hit the wall hard. He actually lost his back glass. I don't know if that was a game glitch or what, but it looked like he was wall riding pretty solid there. He has a lot of proximity on Ruckus here. And although there was a lot of Ruckus actually bringing up a lot of proximity. I was going to say, although there was a lot of contact on H1's follow, he had the proximity, but Ruckus made it back up. A little bump there. I don't know if it'll be enough to force an OMT, but it's a great battle from Ruckus. Let me know in the chat what you guys think. All right, guys, official call is in. H1 is going to move on to round two. Up next, we got Stevie and Tony. Round two, guys, starting off, we got Stevie and Tony. Tony's going to be our leader. Stevie's going to follow. Whenever you guys are ready, go right ahead. Tony with a great launch here. Stevie to follow. Tony's going to enter on the outside here. Ooh, great line from both drivers. Stevie with all the proximity as he wall taps. That's insane. Tony does pull ahead a little bit in the second outside zone, though. They both stay in drift up the hill. That's my biggest problem with the remiss. Both drivers hit the touch and go beautifully. Both of them transition on the second one beautifully as well. Tony's going to build a little speed as he moves forward here and hits his third touch and go. He's going to drive hard into the outside. He's pulling a little bit. Stevie's trying to make up that lost ground now. They both have great line. Great, have both angle. Imagine if I could say that sentence correctly. But man, what a battle. There's maybe a 2-car distance between the two of them. Both of them super solid on line. This is going to be a proximity judgment for sure. Swapped over here for Tony's follow. Whenever you guys are ready, go right ahead. Stevie here on his lead is going to enter nice and deep. Tony's going to go a little shallow there. Oh, as Stevie hits the wall. That is devastating, man. After an unbelievable follow, we are going to see if there's any critical error on Tony's part here to maybe even it out and force an OMT. But after an incredible follow, Stevie is going to run into the wall just a little bit too hard. He is pulling pretty well, but man, that wall seems to be eating up some of our best drivers. We got to be careful of it tonight. Stevie's going to hit that last outside zone beautifully as Tony moves on to round two. All right, guys, so Tony is going to move on to round two to face H1. Up next, we got Dilly and Mr. Moo. All right, guys, two absolute legends in the NTNS community. We got Moo and Dilly. Dilly's going to lead this time. Whenever you guys are ready, go right ahead. So Dilly with a great launch, Moo right on him. That's awesome. Dilly's going to enter beautifully into the first zone. Ooh, a little wall tap there. We're not going to fault him. That could easily just be desync as Moo with unbelievable proximity in both of the first two outside zones. Both drivers hitting the jump in drift. Moo with a little bit of contact is going to cause that. We're going to fault Moo there on his follow. Little bit of lack of control on the brakes. Now I have to say Stevie and Moo both with not a ton of practice on this map. As Dilly running into the outside, Moo as well. Oh, a little bit of brakes there is gonna bring Dilly ahead pretty handedly here with some proximity, but it is anyone's game. Moo with a solid lead here, could totally force the OMT. We're gonna swap over to Dilly's perspective and see how he does. All right, guys, here's Dilly's follow. Moo's gonna try and gain as much proximity as he can in that RX-7. Beautifully done. Dilly is not letting him get away, though. Here he goes back into outside number 2. Dilly right on him, little tap. Definitely no fault to Dilly there as both drivers again in drift over the jump. Everyone's really well controlled over that jump so far tonight. Moo is gonna gain a little bit as he goes into touch and go 1 and 2. Completes touch and go 3 here as he drives down the hill. Dilly is not letting up. Very clean follow from Dilly. I think he's playing it a little bit safe, and he probably should because he knows he had a good advantage on his lead. I'm gonna say Dilly is gonna move ahead. We'll check with chat real quick and get back to you guys. All right, guys, official vote is in, and Dilly is gonna beat out Mr. Moo for round 1. Up next, we have Brex and Hatman.
Hatman with the follow. Here we go. Brex in the lead. Whenever you're ready, Brex, go right ahead. Great launch here from both drivers, if I do say so myself. Oh, I bumped him. I pushed him. That's my fault. Dang it. It's completely my fault. Hopefully, the chat will agree that he brake checked me there and did not need to go that slow into that corner. I corrected hard. Up the hill. Oh no. Am I going to be defeated by the holy cow? I'll touch and go into the downhill here. Beautifully done. I have to say, Breck's really looking good up there. Oh, justice may not prevail today, boys. Into the outside. It's gonna be tough to beat. Gonna have to pull out a solid lead here, do my best, and try and pull as much proximity as I can. He honked, you heard it. I'm going. Oh, big surge. Now we're even. Back into the outside zone too. Try to keep it in drift up the hill here. Oh no. 2 bumps. Chat, talk to me. OMT, I'm seeing a lot of OMTs. OMT for Hatman, let's do it. All right, here we go. Hatman's first ever OMT, I think, unless I had one last time, I don't know. All right, here we go. Into the outside for number 2. That's a pretty nice entry if I don't say so myself, going into outside zone number 2 up here. Try and keep it in drift over the hill. Into touch and go 1. Into touch and go 2. Oh no, I was looking behind me. Terrible line. I forgot you guys can just see from the thing. I don't need to look behind me to show you where the proximity is. That's a fatal error. Into outside 3. It's hard to commentate and drive at the same time with a hat on your nose, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Outside zone, number whatever that was, to finish out the line. Ooh, fatal error looking behind me there. We're gonna follow here. Try not to hit him. Ooh, nice proximity to the wall there from Brex as we go into outside zone number 2. Oh, big correction from Brex there. He cuts across, back into the touch and go, beautifully done to recover. As he's gonna go into the second touch and go, drop a wheel. It's gonna go into touch and go number 3. I have all the proximity here. It's looking good for Hatman. Into this outside zone. Into the final outside zone. We follow. Oh, chat, what's the call? Another OMT. All right, let's do it. All right, another entry here on the follow. Gonna try and keep my line consistent and gain as much proximity as I can. There we go, a little inside to that second outside zone. Try and gain some proximity. Hit the touch and go once more. Nice proximity to Brex here as I hit the second touch and go. Oh, big correction. Oh no. Lost it just a little bit there on that second touch and go. I'm struggling there. Building speed as much as we can down the hill. Oh no, I gripped up. And it is not looking good for Hatman. Oh, it's a great launch from Brex. It's gonna be pretty tough. Big angle though, big angle. Try and get as much proximity as we can. I'm gonna need you guys to pay attention to game here on Brex's lead there. Or his follow line. Back up the hill. Beautifully done. Hitting a touch and go. Definitely not gonna struggle this time. There we go. Brex is right on us. Hit the third touch and go. And I don't know if it's gonna be enough. Oh, I'm outside again. No! That is not Brex's fault. And I think Hatman will once again be defeated.
Man, my nose hurts all of a sudden. I don't know what that's all about, but All right, guys, so Brex is gonna defeat Hatman to move on into round 2. We got H1 and Tony, and have the guys line it up. All right, guys, round 2, battle number 1. We got H1 and Tony. Tony's gonna lead. Whenever you guys are ready, go right ahead. Tony's gonna launch on H1 here. H1's gonna have to make up some lost ground as they enter into T1. Bolt drivers beautifully done. Tony was a little deeper as H1 with some great proximity. I have to say, he's strong on the brakes. Wow, the proximity on H1 is absolutely incredible. As H1 back to touch and go number 1. Bolt drivers hit it beautifully. Tony's lead line is stellar, but H1 is not giving an inch. It's unbelievable, man. He's got all the grip. He's using it beautifully. There was no contact there. Tony gets the wall tap. What a lead line from Tony. H1 follows it beautifully. This is incredible, man. These guys are both stellar, and we're looking at a really solid run from both drivers there. All right, guys, line it back up. Here we go, guys. Tony on the follow, H1 on the lead this time. Let's see what H1 can do with all that speed he had on his follow. Can he pull away from Tony? He is just a little bit out into the wall. No contact. That's crazy. He's a little shallow, but it's going to set him up really nice for a high-speed run into the first touch and go as he does miss it a little bit. I think Tony might have had a better touch and go there, but H1 is building some serious proximity. He's really driving well tonight, guys. He is really driving well out into the last two outside zones. Tony's gonna surge and cause a little contact into the wall. And that, I believe, is gonna move H1 on. We're gonna check out the chat. I'll get right back to you guys. All right, guys, so after a little bit of deliberation here, H1 is gonna move on into the semifinals. Up next, we have Dilly and Brex. Here we go, guys. We got Brex and Dilly up next. Brex is gonna follow Dilly on the lead. Whenever you guys are ready, go right ahead. Beautiful launch for both drivers. Let's go, guys. Dilly's gonna try and pull ahead into the entry here. Had the HUD, sorry. Wow, Dilly's got a beautiful line going. Man, out into the second outside zone, that's gonna be hard to beat on a lead line there. Brex into the wall. Oh no, he got hung up just a little bit. As Dilly is gonna pull ahead. We are gonna give Brex his follow run, but it is looking pretty good for Dilly now. I'm gonna try and keep an eye on Dilly moving forward up there. Make sure he doesn't hit a wall as well. But Dilly looks really well seasoned, really well in control, and Brex is gonna have to pull out a miracle here to move on once more. Let's see what he can do. All right, guys, solid launch from both drivers. Brex is gonna try and pull ahead, and he does quite well into the first turn here. He's gonna go way outside. He's gonna bump the wall once again. Dilly's gonna try and stay nice and consistent as he did last time. Just try and keep that proximity up. All he has to do is put in a good lap without crashing, and he will move on, as Brex did bump the side of the mountain there. It was a huge bummer, man. After that round 1 win against Hatman, we were pulling for Brex out here, but it does look like Dilly, if he can just complete the lap here, is gonna move on to face H1 in the semifinals into that last outside zone. Really solid lead from Brex. I don't believe it's gonna be enough. Let's check with the chat and get back to the bracket. All right, guys, it is gonna be Dilly moving on to face H1. I'm sorry, it's not the semifinals. This is the finals. It's an 8-man bracket. It's not the semis. This is for the win. H1 and Dilly. Crazy. All right, guys, here we go. Street Series official competition number 2. Dilly versus H1 for the finals. Is H1 gonna pull out the second win, or is Dilly gonna become our second winner here in Street Series on GTA 5? Whenever you guys are ready, go right ahead. Both drivers with a solid launch here. H1 has had proximity all night in his favor. He's gonna bump Dilly on transition there. That's gonna be a slight fault to H1 as Dilly was not able to swing his car the way he needed into T1. Dilly with a great lead line here. H1's gonna miss his touch and go as Dilly hits it. This is crazy. Dilly has given H1 a run for his money. H1 back on proximity is banging Dilly around. Nothing that's affecting his line. Not enough to call anyway. Outside into the wall. This is the one that got Hatman, and both drivers super solid. Dilly with actually some better angle here as H1 corrects just a little bit. Dilly is giving the champ a run for his money. This is crazy. All right, guys, Dilly with an unreal lead. Let's see what he can do on his follow here. Whenever you guys are ready, go right ahead. Both drivers here, ready to go. Dilly on his follow. Can he take out the champ? The champ is flying up there. Look at him go. Oh, into the wall just a little bit, and he's gonna correct as he hits the wall. Dilly's gonna make up some proximity on the contact here. It was all for naught on the entry as Dilly is gonna hit that touch and go, but he's trying to make up some proximity here. H1 is pulling. H1 definitely has proximity in his favor. Dilly has line and angle. This is gonna be a tough call. This is gonna be a tough call. Dilly's gonna surge back in just a little bit. I'll tell you, man, it wouldn't surprise me if chat had it go either way. I feel like H1 did have a few faults on his follow that Dilly did not have, but I'm seeing a whole bunch of OMTs in the chat. Let's OMT that. Let's OMT that for sure. All right, guys, OMT in the finals. We're no stranger to this. Whenever you guys are ready, go ahead. Can Dilly put down another super solid lead here on the chip? That's one thing H1 has right now is proximity. He's got a lot of speed in this S13. Dilly, though, with that lead line, it's so clean. He's going to go into outside 2, up the hill, hits the transition beautifully, man. That's so tough to do. Back around here into the second touch and go. Both drivers beautifully done. H1 just has all the proximity in the world on Dilly right now. He's gonna tap his door down the hill. That is vicious from H1 as Dilly with an unbelievable lead. H1 putting it right on him, and Dilly's gonna get a little bit early into the wall, into that final outside zone. That is insane. I think H1's in a little bit better spot than he was in the first round. Whenever you guys are ready, go ahead for H1's lead. H1 with his lead here on the OMT gets a really nice launch. He does have the proximity once again, both on his follow and his lead. Man, he's out in the wall. Really solid there. He's got just about the same lead line as Dilly had. Super clean from both drivers. Dilly's gonna make some contact there as H1 still hits the touch and go. That's unbelievable. That's like a jumping door tap. This is absolutely insane. These guys are duking it out as H1 pulls ahead with some proximity. Dilly's gonna try for that door tap. He's not gonna quite make it. Oh, did he make it? Is he gonna force the OMT? No way. And H1 with a slightly better outside zone. I might say OMT. I'm going to consult with the chat once again. Another battle between these two titans. Dilly on his third lead here. He's been super solid all night. Man, that entry is so clean. H1 right on him. Maybe not the same angle. Oh, H1's going to push him in the wall. I think that's an H1 fault there. I think he was a little too aggressive. I wonder how chat's going to call that as both drivers into the first touch and go. H1 still got all that proximity. We're really gonna have to think about how we call that contact there. Was that Dilly too far in the wall, or did H1 cause that? Both drivers through the third touch and go beautifully into the outside zone. H1 right on him. Dilly's gonna go into that final outside zone, and he hits it beautifully with the wall tap. That was amazing, dude. Let's go. Here we go, guys. Dilly on his third follow here. H1 with the lead. He's got the speed, man. Both drivers with great entries here. Dilly's really flicking it, whereas H1's a little bit more controlled. H1 way out on the wall. He's gonna hit and spin, and Dilly is gonna move into a championship spot. That is unbelievable. All he has to do is finish the lap, and we are gonna have a new winner here in GTA Street Series. Crazy, bro. Dilly, huge congratulations to you, man. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you to everybody who came out to the competition tonight. These Street Series competitions are so much fun, and they wouldn't be what they are without you guys. So seriously, thank you everybody who came out, built a track like Ruckus did, brought a build, practiced hard, and ran with us tonight. You guys are awesome. I appreciate it a ton. If you guys are watching this on YouTube and you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys a ton. If you did enjoy the video or found it useful at all, please feel free to leave a like down below, subscribe for more just like it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Oh, hang out in the Discord. I'm gonna put the link in the description down below. You guys should come out for more comps. They're so much fun. I'll see you guys over there. Peace.